As you guys can tell, everything keeps getting bigger and bigger. And so we will have a lot of these available on the store once we launch it. Obviously, it's going to be something very small. These are just garden starters. So this is how we planted our entire garden last year, you guys. And it was so big and beautiful. Just like this, super simple, super easy. Pop it in and boom, you got a beautiful garden. So we're focusing mainly on herbs and healing plants. There will be some flowers available, but look at how big everything's getting in here. We actually are getting rid of a couple of these eucalyptus. We've been selling off a few to kind of give us more room because we're growing like 1,000 eucalyptus plants. So if you are in the market for eucalyptus plants, they will be ready by the end of this week, I'd say, because all this beautiful, nice weather is helping them become larger, and which helps also with the rooting of them. Their roots are getting really nice. I got the kids home, so they may make an appearance here and there. But as you can see, the eucalyptus are growing. This is the size that we're gonna start selling them in. So they are in a smaller cell, but you got a beautiful plant start already going for you, and they will take off. So you can either plant them in your garden or in a pot, and you'll have beautiful eucalyptus just like all of these in our greenhouse.
I grew my own sensitive plants.
Ooh, so Selah's got her own sensitive plants here. She seeded her own because Selah's favorite plants are the sensitive plants, also known as mimosa. Also for some, and depending on where you live, it might be a little bit of a weed for you, but for us it's entertainment, so we're enjoying it.
So 5 already popped up.
Yeah, I'm surprised no other ones popped up yet.
And I know why they grew quick, because I put 3 crystals in there.
Yep, your little fairy crystals there, right? Yep. Our holy basil is coming along beautifully. As you can see, everything's becoming really well rooted and ready for you guys. So I am super excited. These are also ones that we'll be planting into our garden. Here's some feverfew for medicine. So always be sure to harvest the flower. That's where a lot of the medicine is for feverfew. And you want to harvest the flowers so you don't end up with a ton of feverfew the next year, because a lot of medicinal plants can be obviously considered some weeds. So you don't want to, let things get too far in the garden. And then over here we have our thyme. It smells so amazing, you guys. The thyme just smells so good. Look how gorgeous that's becoming. It's getting perfect. Here's our rosemary, such a slow grower, but so worth it. It's amazing. I don't know if these are even rooted yet. Let's see. Nope. They're not coming easy, so I'm gonna just leave them, keep them protected for now. We've got Verbena bonariensis. So nice. This also does spread by seed. So when you buy it once, just save the seed in fall, and then you can literally just directly seed it in your garden as well. Over here we have the sweet dark basil. This one is actually one of my favorites. I love adding this into combinations with bright, colorful flowers. And then when you clip some off as they keep growing, the smell is just so good. And the flower that they provide is beautiful. It's like a purplish white flower, and it's like a plume. Absolutely stunning. Got the lemongrass. Ooh, smells so good. 2 trays here, and I have another tray as well, which I'll actually use an entire tray myself for all of the goods that I love making with it. We've got 4 trays over here of lavender. It smells amazing already. And because they are nice, thick, and full, you can plant it as is, or you can separate them. I know people have asked how to separate them. I would just go right down the middle, use a scissors and cut, and then you can have 2 lavender plants off of just 1 plug. But look how gorgeous that is. And I have a few more trays that are a second batch of that as well. Over here, I've got the dark millet. This is the Majesty, Purple Majesty. This is the one that we grow all the time in our garden. I know it looks bright green now, but it does darken up and gets a beautiful dark plume. More of the lemongrass. we've got sweet wormwood, which is considered an invasive weed for some different areas. So you want to make sure to contain it in a pot, and you do harvest the flowers. So you want to make sure to harvest the flowers because the flowers are what produce the seed, which can germinate everywhere. So sweet wormwood is actually my favorite scented plant, weed, whatever you want to call it. I love it. I think it's a shame that, you know, we can't grow it in other areas, but it can take over if it's not maintained. So do keep that in mind, but I have a feeling you will not allow this to just go anyway, because you're not going to be able to stay away from the smell of it. You're going to want to clip it, put it in bouquets in your house. You're going to want to possibly even make some different scented items with it. We create a spray with sweet wormwood. It's amazing. We've got lemon balm over here. So this is a perennial for us here, Wisconsin Zone 5. It's a very hardy perennial, but lemon balm, I can't talk right now. I'm getting too excited about lemon balm, but lemon balm smells beautiful, but it also provides medicine as well. More rosemary, more eucalyptus, which we've got like 1,000 plants of eucalyptus. Over here we've got blue Victoria salvia. Look how awesome this is. So when you buy one of these, you can also divide it in 2 or 3 and just, you know, use a scissors to cut right down the center, or just plant it as is. I always just plant them as is. Over here we have lime basil. It smells really good. It's almost like lemon basil, but just a little bit more with a lime twist to it. And I think that lemon basil is a lot stronger, but this is definitely one of my other favorites in the garden. So you could create a beautiful citrus herb garden where you have like the citrusy smelling herbs like lime basil, lemongrass, all of those really good smelling plants. So that way when you clip it, it smells amazing and just extracts this beautiful scent throughout the entire garden. And you could place your citrus garden right where you sit, so then that way, and when they flower, they are big bee butterfly attractors, and they're really great for drawing in beneficial bugs to your garden. So they're really good to plant around anything that's edible in your garden. I love all different types of basils. Like, it's my favorite herb, and I can't decide which scent I like the best, but I'm not going to choose. I'm just going to choose basil. All of it. All of the basil. Give me all the basil. And then we have our basic sage, which you use in your food, but it also does have medicinal values. That's what's awesome, you guys. If you really take a peek at what you're already currently growing in your garden every year, you're going to be surprised how much you're growing as medicine in your garden. So not just for eating, but also for consuming for ailments or anything that you're suffering with. Just take a peek and really just start, you know, indulging in finding out, like, you know, what am I growing that is going to help my health? You know, like, we have to be strong, we have to be healthy. And this is a new day and age where we're learning about everything, and it feels like everything's brand new, and it's time to you know, it's time to just start becoming curious again, rather than just being okay with what we were already taught. So here we go. I'm picking this one up because this is lemon basil. This one is my favorite, and it is super duper strong. It is so potent. It is amazing. This was my favorite last year. I even used it in like different bundles. You're gonna definitely want lemon basil in your garden. We have oregano, which I love it because they're little squishies. So, like, once again, you could just plant it as is. Oregano does really well in groupings like this when they're seeded. They take off and create a beautiful plant right off the bat in the first year. Mine returns every year. This is actually Jason's favorite herb for eating on all different types of foods. He's a oregano lover. Over here we have some peppermint. Peppermint I started a little bit later because I realized that I had forgotten to get the seeds. So it's a little bit behind, but it still looks amazing, as you can see. peppermint, any type of mint, is a good one to keep in contained containers so it doesn't go everywhere and take over everything. We do grow them in our raised bed, so it does take some maintenance to make sure that they're not taking over the whole bed, but I'm okay with that because of all the beautiful benefits and the smell of peppermint. We have hyssop over here. It smells so good. It always smells like black licorice to me. Black licorice smell, oh, it's so good, but it's so sweet too. It's amazing. Over here is spearmint. This one's on the same schedule as the peppermint because those were the two that I forgot to order seeds for. The reason for that was because I thought I had a lot on hand and I couldn't find them anywhere. So I just went ahead and got some fresh new ones. They're also super easy to seed save from your own plants at the end of the season. And then as you can see, more eucalyptus. So we've got tons of eucalyptus and different varieties. So we'll have all the different varieties individually placed on the website, and then it will describe them. It'll show a picture of what they look like when they get bigger, so you know what you want, because everyone has a specific need for eucalyptus, whether they like to just look at it, whether they like to make stuff out of it, or just want it for bouquets. There's all different types that are specific for your needs. And then I got my little mums in here that are blossoming beautiful. I love them. I love the purple mums. They smell so amazing. So what I do is in the fall, I know I hate doing this, but I do clip off all the flowers because I dry them and I keep them, and I've been storing them because I've been saving to do a lot of them for a fall time spray. I want to create a chrysanthemum spray off of real live chrysanthemum flowers. And that's also on our store. We have about, I think I've got like 8 different types or 9 different types of sprays now that I've created and made off of real plants and different infusions. And I love doing that. I love distilling and having fun with the plants. And over here we've got our basic sweet basil. Look how beautiful that looks. So this you can also go ahead and just part down the middle. You know, just part right down the middle and then just slice with the scissors and you're fine. You'll have 2 plants. You'll probably lose just a couple seedlings along the divider line, but don't worry about that. They will still get full and beautiful. As basil grows up, I always snip the little tips so that way they get bushy rather than like a tall, leggy stalk. When they get tall, leggy stalk, then they can easily be blown and fall over from the wind and break off at the base. So I like to keep those nice and bushy from the beginning. I'm just going to most likely plant mine as is and not divide them. We have pink salvia over here, just getting started. I started a lot of my flowers later because I don't need them ready until the 3rd week of May. So we still got a good 5 to 6 weeks here before they can actually go outside. So those I know I didn't need them ready to sell because we're focusing mainly on certain types of plants first, and then we'll go from there. So here's St. John's wort. This is smaller than the rest because I didn't realize that I didn't have seeds for it, 1, and 2, I had to grow a lot more because Jason actually yanked mine out of the raised beds. You know, I was happy for the help, so I'm not complaining. I'm just gonna plant some more this year. And then over here are some different types of ageratums popping up. So these are more of the cut flower variety. I don't really cut them because I just like how they get so tall and they carry that true blue fuzzy flower. It's like a cluster of them and it's amazing. Here over here we got more lavender. This is our second batch. Our second batch of lemon basil. I know that's going to be popular because it's a must in the garden. And then over here we have some of our flowering kale starting. So we get the flowering kale started right now that are going to go into the garden. But then we will start some later to also sell, so you guys have some for your fall garden. So then that way you have some for your containers or whatever, just to have fun with, right? Over here we have the cinnamon basil. I had this last year. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It also gets more of a multi-color, so it won't just stay pure green. It almost gets a little tint and polka dot hint of dark purple in it. It gets these beautiful white plume flowers. It's just a beautiful plant, but it smells so good. It doesn't smell like pure cinnamon. It smells like cinnamon mixed with regular basil. So it's a really good one. And then let's hit up over here. So we've got 2 trays over here of sweetgrass. I would just grow them as is. They multiply out of the ground through rhizomes, just like your basic grass, but this gets nice and tall. I use this for inside of teas. Some people like to dry and burn it. So it's whatever you want to do with it. It's very medicinal, just so you know. It's amazing. So it has more of like almost like a floral hint to it when you drink it in tea. So it's a very unique type of a flavor, and it is perennial here in our zone 5, Wisconsin. And then over here we have yarrow. So this is not the white yarrow. The white yarrow I am going to go ahead and directly seed in the garden. So this is actually the berry blend. So this is going to be multiple colors. And this, I have no idea where I'm going to place, but I think we're also going to sell some of them off. But I'm going to use it just for fill-ins throughout some of our other beds. And when I say beds, I mean the ground beds. So this is not going to go into our raised beds. This will go into our ground beds where we need some extra color. It's always good to have more color, right? Over here we have the valerian root. So this is also one that will spread from the root. It can become very invasive, so be sure to contain it in a space where you really want to use valerian medicinally. And then over here we've got mugwort, which is also can become invasive if you don't have it contained or in a raised bed. But as long as you're taking off those flowers, it won't spread. And the flowers also carry a lot of the benefits. And over here we've got some purple wave petunias. This is actually not the purple. It's more of a warmer tone, like fuchsia kind of a color, but I did quite a few trays because we're gonna just pop these into our ground beds as well. They work as a beautiful floor of color throughout the entire season. And what else is amazing is because when they're growing, they suppress a lot of weed growth. So that way, if we have perennial beds that are still filling in, and there's a lot of space in between, whoop, got a little weed in there. I don't like seeing a lot of space in between our perennial plants. So as they grow in and bush in, we like to add a lot of ground covers, and these are just annual, so these aren't going to come back every year. And over here we have horehound, which is also another amazing medicinal. You'll want to definitely cut off the flower at the end so it doesn't seed out everywhere. Over here I've got the purple coneflower, you guys. Purple coneflower is also great for medicine, but it's also a beautiful plant to have, just to have in your gardens, because it is such a beautiful, beneficial attractor, and butterflies just love it. We have more white sage over here popping up. Over here we have the German chamomile. That's looking really nice. German chamomile is probably one that many of you are very familiar with for teas and tinctures and all kinds of stuff. So there's more German chamomile over there as well. Another batch of sweetgrass. Let's see. Another batch of feverfew, because the feverfew also gets those beautiful white flowers. So if you're not growing it for medicine, so pretty, so pretty. So the status I actually just started 2 weeks ago. So we like to grow a lot of plants that flower, that hold their color. So status is definitely one of those dry flowers that is beautiful. As long as you cut it when it's in its prime color, it holds on to the color. So I like using status and straw flowers for my bundles. Like, I love using the color because it lasts in the bundle. So as everything dries and kind of loses and drains of its color, the straw flowers and the status really hold on to their color in those bundles, and that's what these are here. I start things later based on when I'm going to need them. So if I'm growing them and I need all these to grow in my garden, I start them just a little bit later, because I know already, you know, by heart what grows fast, what doesn't grow fast, what needs to start early. So that's why we have our snaps just started now too, because these will grow really fast, especially with the warm weather here now. We're having 70s, possibly 80 on Wednesday. This is amazing. And then over here, another tray of sweet wormwood, because I'm going to need it all. I need it all for my sprays, my bundles. I love sweet wormwood. It is my favorite. So that concludes this side of the greenhouse. And this little section over here. As you can see, there are no bunnies boarding in the bunny pen inside anymore. It is too warm in here for the bunnies, so they are outside currently. Got to get everything cleaned up in here so it's nice and tidy in case they need to come in on a cool night. This is another one of our lemon eucalyptus trees, also known as Citriodora. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but you get the gist. Over here we have some castor beans. I like using these for the large leaves and the height. If you're afraid of them being poisonous for your pet and your pet doesn't, you know, think about what they're putting in their mouth, then you should not grow it. So we have some other types of eucalyptus. As you can see, there's such a difference, you know, in different types of eucalyptus plants, and that's the type of information that we'll hold for you online on our website. So I do have my comfrey coming over here. Do you guys remember when I seeded the comfrey? Look how gorgeous this is getting. It's looking really, really nice. This is supposed to be a double flower poppy, so we'll see. I usually just directly sow my poppies outside, but I'm like, I'm just gonna start a few in here so we can kind of maybe get a little extra color. I've got tons of little, okay, we hear you, Frosty. Frosty's going crazy. Lots more of our chrysanthemums over here. We're gonna get a lot of those going so we have a really huge harvest for the sprays and little things I like to make with those. Over here we got more of our snaps. So we do a lot of different varieties of Snapdragons. And I did a lot of seed saving more so last year. So I'm not going to be selling a lot of our Snapdragons this year because I want to see how they perform off of a lot of the saved seeds. But there are a lot that we are growing that aren't from saved seeds. Over here we have our Plumosa fern. And there's just a few in here left because these were the little guys that were so tiny when I started planting up, because over here is where I already planted quite a few up when they were ready. So those are looking nice. Those we are going to offer. Plumosa is actually one of my favorite house plants ever. It is absolutely gorgeous. Over here we have the sensitive plant and it's looking really good. Hello. Alrighty, we're coming over here, and as you can see, there's a heck ton of more eucalyptus. So we've got lots of varieties over here too. Baby blue, silver dollar, lemon, hybrid, all kinds of stuff. And then we also have the spotted bee balm. So I'm going to discuss the spotted bee balm because it actually was one of those plants last year where I'm like, why have I never used this in a container garden? Spotted bee balm I'm going to use in some of my container gardens because it was spectacular last year. The flowers on it were absolutely stunning and gorgeous and lasted so long. Over here we do have some of our white sage, which I'm going to need all of these this year because all of the seeds we ordered this year weren't as vigorous in germinating as they usually have been in the past years. So that's okay. We're just going to flow with what we have for the year. Here's the Plumosa fern that I was telling you guys about on the other side. Look how gorgeous that is. It just looks like the perfect little addition for a fairy garden, but they get absolutely huge. So keep that in mind if you keep it year after year or in the house. And then we have some of our other Snapdragons here. So that's kind of, you know, kind of it for now. So I just gave you guys a long and extensive seed tour. So I'm going to break the video up so it doesn't feel like too long. So today, I hope you guys enjoyed the seed tour. So I'll continue on making this video today, but I'll split it. And so that's where I'll show you guys the caladium bulbs that I'm planting up today. And then we're also going to share the bunny enclosure update, what we did differently to tweak it throughout the season. Did it hold up? I guess we'll find out. If you guys haven't been watching and you don't know, then yeah, you'll have to find out. So the bunnies are loving it. Let's just say that. We brought them out yesterday. They're hopping like crazy. I haven't seen them move and hop like that in months. So they are just so happy to be out there in the sunshine in their little grass pad. And I can't wait to show you guys that because they're so cute. They're just so adorable. Okay, well, we'll see you guys tomorrow again in part 2.